Okay.
You're going to get fancy on me, aren't you, Mike?
I am. I'm going to go a little bit chefy, just a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to out-chef me. Come on.
But do you know what? It's a labour of love, but what a treat it is when we make some fresh pasta. So we're using 500 grams of the Tipo flour, the double O.
So this is the higher protein flour, right?
Exactly.
We want the gluten.
You want the gluten this time. You want it to be really nice and elastic. And a lot of the job of making fresh pasta is making that gluten work for you.
Okay.
So
flour?
simple recipe. 500 grams of flour to either 5 large eggs, is how I always remember it, or 6 smaller eggs, okay? So these are slightly smaller, so we're going 6.
6 eggs, 500 grams of flour.
500 grams of flour.
And if I wanted to be lazy, could I do this in like a food or a...
Of course you could.
What was I going to say, like a kitchen mix?
Yeah, you could do it. You could do it in a mixer. You could even do it in like a blender, sort of like this.
Yeah.
Just whisk the eggs first.
Like I've got a dough hook on my
Absolutely.
KitchenAid thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dough hook attachment, and you can leave it to combine and then to knead about 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
But this looks nice.
It's,
you know.
For me, this is pasta. This is proper pasta. It's fun. It's engaging. I love to make it with my kids, you know, but I love making it in the restaurants as well. Like, it's just something we've always had on the menu. It's a labour of love, but when done well, it's the best thing in the world. All right, so we're just going to keep mixing this up, and then it's going to come eventually into a ball, and then we'll start kneading it.
Okay.
To 10 minutes of this sort of process, and it will pick up those last little bits, and you just keep it working, and you'll have a gorgeous dough, which you then have to rest at the end, okay? It's got to rest for minimum 20 minutes. Ideally an hour, minimum of 20. Your job.
I'm in. This is like, I don't need to go to the gym today if I do this. It's like my resistance training.
I'm gonna push this over to you, and then I'm gonna get cracking with the
you want me to work all this in?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, while you're kneading, I'm gonna make the filling, okay? And I'm gonna do like a mushroom and goat's cheese filling.
Okay, that does sound good. Do you want me to budge over it a little bit?
So with the mushrooms, I'm gonna do it almost similar to like a duxelle style, you know, where we're gonna blitz them first and then cook it out in the pan.
Then you fry them?
Yes, it's much easier. All right, super quick. Easy. You don't have to spend 1 hour chopping.
Yeah, I've actually never done it this way. I always think to cook the mushrooms first and then, you know, if I was doing like a mushroom sauce,
Yeah.
steak or something.
Absolutely, you can do it like that. This is a nice way where basically it's going to draw out the moisture quicker.
Right.
In the mushroom. So I want to evaporate all that liquid and get it really nice, almost thick, basically, because I want it to hold inside the tortellini.
Okay, now these shallots, like French shallots? Shallots or echalots?
Shallots.
Shallots.
These are banana shallots, which we're just going to do into like little brunoise, so little diced. So just a small dice of that. And then in here, we're going to go with a little bit of butter.
Of course.
A little bit.
Of course you are. We've got some incredible, unique chemicals that you only get in mushrooms compared to other things. And all the members of the onion family have all sorts of health benefits. There you go. I can say something really, really good and healthy about this recipe.
This isn't too bad, this recipe. And like, okay, look, the one thing I will say about cooking the mushrooms in the butter is you get a layer of flavour you just don't get with oil, like even olive oil. Like you get this nutty, caramelised, almost umami hit from cooking mushrooms in butter. There is no better way of cooking it.
And garlic. I mean,
and garlic.
That is a very classic pairing,
and
isn't
onion.
it?
Oh, it's a perfect match. Just rough chopping the garlic for this.
But you know, in the Mediterranean, they would be using oil over butter.
Yes, they would.
Extra virgin olive oil.
They would. I'm not.
No, I can see.
All right, so we get all those mushrooms in there. And again, you can use different. I'm using button mushroom because I actually want the cheese to be the star of this, not the mushroom.
Yeah, and for vegetarians, pescatarians, actually mushrooms are a great way of getting that sort of umami flavour, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is almost done. I'm gonna take it off, cool it down before I mix it through with the cheeses. That is looking beautiful. We'll cover that with some Glad wrap, leave it to rest for about half an hour. Okay, so this is now cold, our beautiful, like, almost mushroom duxelle.
Yeah.
If you can grate probably half of this, about 100 grams.
And what sort of cheese have I got here?
So this is both two different types of goats. So this is a hard goats.
Okay.
And I am just
Love
going to add.
goat's cheese.
I love goat's cheese.
Now that is very, very Mediterranean.
Absolutely.
They often have goat's cheese.
All of this one, I'm just going to crush up and pop through as well.
And you know, this is a fermented food.
Yeah.
We talk about all the fancy fermented foods and we forget about good old yogurt and cheese. True fermented foods.
It's where it almost started.
Yeah.
So I'm adding in some creme fraiche into that now. And then we're just going to season it up nicely.
Do you want this in here?
Yes, please. Generous pinch of salt. Some pepper.
Try not to waste a second of this beautiful cheese.
And then we're just going to mix that really nicely through. And that's just going to be the most simple, delicious mushroom and goat's cheese filling. Pass me the piping bag.
Do you want me to hold it while you
Yeah, why not?
tip it in? Okay, so we cool this down a bit? Put it in the
Yeah,
fridge?
pop it back in the fridge just to reset a little bit so it's a bit firmer.
Okay.
And we're going to get to the fun part of doing our pasta sheets.
Fun, okay. I've never done this before.
Really?
I'm quite excited. Well, I've made it in the ready-made pasta
Yeah.
machine that does it all for you.
Yeah.
And I've done it that way, but never the hand roller.
Oh,
So, but I've seen
find
it done so many times.
I find it very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Like it's mindfulness for me. So with this now, I mean, you can see the difference to how when we
Yeah, and it's
started
quite
with the
shiny.
dough. It's a
Yeah.
really good dough.
Okay.
So we're just going to cut it into 4. Put those to the side. Give you that. We're just going to flatten it slightly. Okay. Now, there's a reason why when you're doing things like fresh pasta or even pizza and stuff like that, people then swap flours when you're dusting. And I always use semolina at this point.
Ah, now see, I use that when I do pizza dough.
Exactly.
I always use semolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so with fresh pasta, we always start at the widest setting, okay?
So go wide and put it through repeatedly, right?
Exactly.
Until it's this thickness you want.
Until you stretch it. And I
Beautiful.
always do it twice.
Oh, and you fold it over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because again, it's all about activating the gluten and getting that elasticity, which we want. So at this stage, I then drop it down one setting
Yep.
and then feed it through again. So basically, each setting is twice. And then you'll find that helps you keep a really nice shape as well. And then it will start to get longer and longer and longer. So when you're making a stuffed pasta, like a tortellini,
Yeah.
you basically want it almost translucent, okay? You don't want it
Right,
thick.
so you don't have a really heavy,
No.
gluggy kind of end
It
dish.
shouldn't be too thick.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously once you then fold over and it joins, that's where the pasta then becomes a bit chewy.
Now, when you get so there's 2 forms of pasta, right? One has egg in it and one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So would you always use an egg pasta for something like a filled tortellini or a ravioli? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just more pliable.
Yeah.
Eggless pastas are beautiful, but they're not as...
For more, I don't know, fusilli or a
exactly.
penne or-
They're not as robust. All right, so at this stage is when I'm going to start to get you involved.
We're at
It
the
starts-
pointy end.
yeah.
I'm gonna-
Starts to get a little bit long. So you just keep feeding it through and then remembering to fold it over. And then you pop it back through again.
This is food made with love, isn't it?
It's love. Look at that.
Look, that's
You see
just
how
beautiful.
you can see your fingers through
Yeah.
it? It's done.
I get it. So it's quite thin, but it's so pliable,
Yeah.
elastic.
If you were using your phyllo, for example. So if you take too long at this stage, it will dry out.
Dry it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to work reasonably quickly.
Reasonably quickly. So semolina is your friend. So I'm just going to dust it very lightly with the semolina, and then we can just fold it over while we do the next one. right.
Next up.
Next step.
Feel like this is, getting to the exciting part.
This
Just
hasn't
seeing it
been
coming
exciting.
together. No, I like that. This is good. I'm having a good time here.
So we're just going to cut the discs. You continue doing that, and then I'm literally just going to stuff. I always overstuff my tortellini. Okay, I'm that person. I try and get in too much filling, so you don't want to go too much. Probably half a tablespoon.
Yeah, I feel like this is like when I make fajitas, and I always put too much in my fajitas, and my family laughs at me. Okay, am I pulling out the excess?
Absolutely.
Now we'll see how well I cut the... Okay, so, and of course, we could re-roll this
Yeah.
dough.
100%.
We don't want to waste a thing. So much effort and love went into that. Oh, how beautiful does this look?
Now, just use a little bit of water,
Yeah.
just on the lip. So just one side. And then you're going to
Fold
fold.
over?
Yeah. I get it to that stage before I then pick it up.
Yeah.
I make sure all the air's popped out. And then as you're popping it down, you can like slightly stretch it up if you want to, just to give yourself a little bit more surface area. Water on one side only.
Fold it over. Okay,
Fold it
so
over.
it's kind of like a little hat. That's
Exactly.
what I'm
And
thinking.
then when I sit it down, I actually push it back down a little bit. Just tuck that in again. We're going to repeat the process until we're done. All right.
We're ready to cook.
We're finally ready to cook.
Tell you what, you know how to do a long recipe.
I know how to do the good ones, guys. This is my gift to you.
Now, do we have to worry about them all sticking together in that pan? Or...
A little bit, yeah. So you can either do it in smaller batches, or you can just make sure you keep it moving a little bit in the water just at the beginning.
And gentle turn.
Gentle. But obviously, fresh pasta, 2 to 3 minutes to cook, max, like super quick. And obviously, we just made it. So the sauce now, super easy,
Butter.
rich, indulgent, full of flavour. So pecorino.
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 So we're just gonna literally grate that.
And when these float,
They're done.
kind of means they're ready, right?
Exactly.
And are we going to put some extra virgin olive oil in there
We're
too?
gonna put a little bit of olive oil in there, just a little, just to make you happy. Doesn't need to be there.
No, but lots of chefs do always a combination of butter and extra virgin olive oil, don't
Always.
they? Yeah.
One, it stops the butter from burning. Two,
Yeah.
obviously the flavour combination is great. Just a touch. And then I'm gonna use just a little bit of the pasta water to bring this together.
So you get a touch of the starch, I guess, from the water
You
and
want
the salt.
starch. Really simple, really delicious. Look at that. They're all floating, cooked. We're gonna finish that with a generous helping of black pepper and just a tiny touch of salt.
Lovely. Some black pepper.
Yes, please.
It's a little chefing
Little chef.
techniques.
Make a bit of a mess. You've called me messy a few times already.
Oh, well, I'm afraid I'm with you in that one, so it's all right. That's where we both are.
Serve up now. And like, this is, for me, this is a starter. It can be a main meal. Like, this is
Yeah.
enough for 4 as a starter, or, 2 as a more decent main. I would do this at the end.
Just in case there's not enough cheese. And it does look pretty, though. A little snow on the top.
A little bit of snow on the top. There you have it, guys. My goat's cheese and mushroom tortellini with a pecorino sauce.
Gorgeous.
Proof is in the eating. Should we get stuck in?
Definitely, definitely.
I mean, for me, there's nothing better. Look at that filling. And you cut through it.
So
Oozy. It's creamy. And that's why we go for the effort of doing the mushroom that way.
that is heaven in a bowl. No, truly, Mike, it is absolutely delicious, but it's quite rich. Like, that would be, for me, too big a portion for my entree.
Don't worry, Joe, I've got you. Not too much for me.